I don't think there's anything more satisfying than harvesting a crop that you planted a long time ago. Hi, I'm Tarish, and I want you to join me today in my garden here at Waves Reiki Retreat Center on the beautiful Washington coast of the United States. How to prepare for your garlic harvest and how I harvest the garlic. This is just so much fun. Thanks for joining me on today's video. Located in Washington on the beautiful Pacific Northwest coast, Zone 8B. It is time to dig up the garlic, and I'm also going to show you my preparation for the drying area as well. First and foremost, I've got to move this out of the way. I'm going to set up the garlic drying spot right inside of this garage. Here inside of this garage, I'm going to set up a rack for the drying of the garlic. And I'm going to use this. It's very simple. It's just a pet cage, like a dog cage or a chicken cage. As long as the air can flow through it, I'm just going to pop it on top of probably 2 chairs to get it some height and just so the air can flow through. Today, I'm going to be harvesting just one of my 3 beds of garlic out in the garden. I don't need a ton of space, but for every harvest that you do, you just want to make sure that you have an equal amount of drying space prepared before you harvest the garlic. Or you can do like me last year, my first garlic harvest. I didn't know what to do. Figured the drying thing out later. But yeah, it's great if you just have a space. You could use a pallet. You could use some 2x4s and something like this just to get it off the ground and let the air flow through it. And somewhere that it's out of the rain or the moisture. It's as fancy as it gets, folks. It's just this fencing here, this little animal cage set on top of 2 chairs. That is what I'm going to put the garlic on today. How do we know that your garlic is ready for harvest? On the bottom of your garlic plant, you'll notice that there are the leaves that are turning brown. Rule of thumb is at least 3 brown leaves. So for example, on the bottom here, we have, this was 1 and 2, and we have the 3rd brown leaf, and even the 4th and the 5th are starting to turn a little colored. So I probably could have harvested this garlic a couple of weeks prior. Now let's get out to the garden. I'm gonna take, we have clam digging, I live on the coast, so we have clam digging shovels. I'm gonna use this. You can use a small shovel. It really depends on the size of your garlic. If your soil is dry enough and your garlic is small, you may not even need a tool to dig them up. But this is my smallest bed of garlic that I'm gonna show you. So let's see what we're dealing with, and then we'll determine what we need for tools. Give you a little demo of this first one. I'll kind of like show you by hand here that if I go to pull it up, I'm not gonna pull the head of garlic out with my bare hands. So I am gonna need a little bit of assistance. All right, I got this handy dandy clam digging shovel. You could also use just like a hand trowel that you would get at the garden center. So I'm gonna take really, really good care to stay far away from the bulbs when I'm doing this. Let's see if I can get this in there. I'm just gonna go far, far around the garlic and try to scoop up from underneath. I'm gonna go around the garlic and kind of scoop up. I want to kind of go in from underneath and kind of push the garlic to the top. I don't want to damage the garlic by yanking on the neck too hard. I loosened up around the bottom of it, and then I just pull it out. All right, we only have 50 more to go. looks like we're gonna have some different sizes of the garlic. Now I have a big glob of dirt here on this one. I'm just gonna pull that glob of dirt off and put it right back in the bed. As soon as I'm done harvesting all of this garlic, I'm gonna immediately amend my bed with nutrition, some compost, and get it ready for the next thing I'm gonna plant here, which is squash. But isn't that beautiful? So you can see we have two different, these are right beside each other, two different sizes. Let's keep going. I really feel that when you grow and then harvest your own garlic, it makes all of the food that you make taste even better. Not just because of the quality of the garlic, but because the love and the care that you put into your garden over the year. More love, I guess you could say. All right. Here you can see what we've harvested just in these first few moments. I'll speed up the video so you don't have to slowly watch me harvest all of these. But gosh, it's just such a wonderful feeling. Wasn't that fun? Okay, next, we'll take the garlic that we just harvested and go put it on the drying rack that we set up earlier in the garage. All right, now the fun part. I've shaken all the dirt and garden debris off of the garlic. I didn't want to use a wheelbarrow today. Need to lift some weights here. So I'm take all of this garlic to the drying rack that we set up earlier in the garage. So carrying this over to the garage, and hopefully in the next hour or so, my friend Miguel will get here and we're gonna finish up the roofing on the greenhouse today. Right, here's a great camera view here. So I got all the garlic that we harvested today. I'm gonna lay it out on this rack and I'm gonna spread it out a bit. I'm gonna let the bulbs hang over one side and then I'm gonna flip the half of it and hang it over the other side. You do not have to do this as I'm doing it. It just, whatever works for you. You can use shelving that's got airflow through it. This just happens to be an old animal cage. So yeah, I'm gonna let the bulbs kind of hang out over here, and then I'll send some bulbs to the other side. Just allowing them to dry, not being stacked on one another. At this moment right now, I can't remember how long that this is gonna need to dry, but my uneducated memory is telling me at least 2 weeks is what I would recommend if you can let it dry. If it's warm and there's airflow, minimum of 2 weeks, but I will probably let mine dry for about a month. Main reason I'll let mine go for a month is because I'm not in a hurry. If you have very limited space and you don't have the ability to let it dry for a whole month, I get that. But the longer I let it dry, the more shelf stable I think it's gonna remain for me to be able to use it throughout the whole year. Okay. All right, now I'm just gonna give you a little bird's eye view of what this looks like a little bit closer. Here's the bird's eye view of the drying rack setup. So as you can see, I have some of the heads of the garlic hanging off on this side. I just kind of try to make sure have some airflow separation between them. And it looks really good. I'm gonna kind of pull some out. Got her stuffed under there. See this right here? I'm just gonna pull it out a little bit. Pull these out a little bit. Oh, we found one right here. We're gonna pull it out a little bit just so it has that airflow. Look at that. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side of the rack. So I hang about half and half and half and half. Got the airflow going through all of the heads of garlic. Voila, we are good to go for drying for the next month. I feel so happy and satisfied on how today's garlic harvest went. If you've watched the video this far, thank you so much for watching. It is truly a pleasure and honor for me to, number one, be able to grow on this beautiful planet Earth, and number two, to be able to have the ability to share this with you, because I learned how to be a gardener through YouTube, and you too can learn to grow a garden. Start getting excited about what you want to grow. If you have questions or comments or anything, please share in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.